And now for our next news special report.
Folks, brace yourselves. We're about to dive into a story that could redefine the very fabric of our justice system. Imagine for a moment a scenario where the legality of a special counsel's appointment is questioned by none other than a former Attorney General. That's exactly what's happening in the Supreme Court right now, and it involves the ongoing pursuit of President Trump. Edwin Meese, a name synonymous with legal integrity, has dropped a bombshell. His submission to the Supreme Court isn't just a document, it's a potential game changer. We're not just talking about a twist in the legal saga. This could be a historic pivot for our republic. So what does this mean for Trump and the Supreme Court and for every American citizen who believes in the rule of law? Well, stay with us. By the end of this report, you'll understand why this isn't just news, it's a seismic shift in our nation's story. Now, before we delve into today's breaking story, let's talk about something as solid as our commitment to truth, gold. In tumultuous times like we see today and saw in the late 70s, gold's value just skyrockets. It's a stark reminder, much like the challenging scenario that Trump faces. Banks like Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan predict big rate cuts. Remember Trump's warning about the U.S. dollar? It's all coming true. With our national debt spiraling, gold has soared past $2,000 an ounce, and it's thanks to our sponsors at the Patriot Gold Group that we can bring you this vital news. So call 888-857-9437. That's the number on the screen right there for a free investor guide. Mention Next News for top-class service. Patriot Gold Group is a fortress of financial security. Now back to the story. Today's report uncovers a pivotal moment in our nation's legal history, one that might just redefine the future of justice in America. At the heart of this seismic shift is the question of legality, authority, and the very principles a republic stands for. So let's break it down. Former U.S. Attorney General Edwin Meese, a titan in the field of constitutional laws, made a bold move. He, along with law professors Stephen Calabresi and Gary Lawson, submitted an amicus brief to the Supreme Court. Now, this isn't just any document. It's a direct challenge to the foundation of Jack Smith's authority as a special counsel investigating former President Donald Trump. Now, the case pivots on a simple yet profound question. Was Jack Smith's appointment as special counsel even legal? If not, this could invalidate every action taken under his purview, including the pursuit of Trump. This is not just a legal technicality. It's a question that goes to the heart of our legal system's integrity. Now let's take a closer look at how the situation is being perceived in the media. Mornings with Maria recently discussed the implications of Meese's submission. They offered a detailed analysis of what this could mean for the ongoing case against Trump. Take a look.
Former Reagan Attorney General Ed Meese presented arguments before the Supreme Court saying all of special counsel Jack Smith's requests should be rejected because he claims he was unconstitutionally appointed in the first place as special counsel. Meese says that because Smith is a private citizen, he's in violation of the appointments clause of the Constitution. Doug, what do you think?
If that be true, then it's again, it throws a whole wrench in this case. But Maria, again, for those of us who've been doing this for so long, it's just like you're like, right, that's actually something that could actually be proven, and they're not looking at it to do, and you get really disappointed in it, thinking that actually something may happen with the law. What's really disturbing here for me over this whole discussion is that average Americans now are being the ones. If you can do this at the highest level, what are we doing in the lowest levels, where you're seeing prosecutors prosecuting based on person, not crime? You're seeing prosecutors not prosecuting people at all. This is, again, we've not talked about this enough. I believe there's becoming this crisis in our judicial system altogether, where judges are named by who they appointed or what party affiliation is, and not their understanding of the law and the Constitution. You have people who are being treated because of last names being treated differently, which, there's been some always in our country, but now it's just becoming outright blatant. And Maria, I think the person who loses in this is the people who are just caught up in a system who don't know anything about this, and they lose faith in our system. When we lose faith in America, our voting processes, our judicial processes, that's who we are. That's the underlying level of us, and we can't afford to do that.
Right.
Now, in November of 2022, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Smith as special counsel. This move, now under scrutiny, was seen as a direct attempt to continue the prosecution of Trump, particularly regarding his objections to the results of the 2020 election and the events of January 6th. But this is not just about a political tug of war. It's a fundamental question of whether the rules were followed in appointing Smith. Meese's brief asserts that Smith's appointment was not only unconventional, but potentially unconstitutional. And by doing so, it throws a spotlight on the very process by which special counsels are appointed. If the process was indeed flawed, this isn't just a case about one individual. It's about preserving the sanctity of our legal system. So let's dive deeper into the brief. He and his colleagues argue that Smith, essentially a private citizen, was appointed without proper Senate confirmation. This is a critical point. The U.S. Constitution and federal statutes have clear guidelines on such appointments, and if these were sidestepped, it represents a grave breach of legal protocol. And the brief points out that while special counsels have been rightly appointed in the past, Smith's case stands apart for its apparent deviation from legal norms. Moreover, the brief emphasizes that Smith's current attempt to obtain a ruling from the Supreme Court further underscores his lack of authority. Simply put, if his appointment was illegal, then he has no standing to represent the United States in any federal court. This isn't a mere procedural hiccup, it's a fundamental flaw that could undermine the entire case against Trump. Now, the language of the brief is striking in its clarity and forcefulness. Phrases like Citizen Smith are used to drive home the point that Smith, without lawful authority, is no different from any other private citizen. This is not just legal jargon, it's a powerful statement about the limits of governmental power and the importance of following the rule of law. But why does this matter to you, the American citizen? It matters because it's a question of fairness, of due process, and of the constitutional safeguards that protect us all. If the appointment of a special counsel could be done in a manner that sidesteps these safeguards, it sets a dangerous precedent. It suggests that the very mechanisms meant to ensure justice can be manipulated, potentially turning them into tools of political vendetta, as we're seeing. Now, the implications of this are far-reaching. If Meese's argument is upheld by the Supreme Court, it would not only impact the case against Trump, but also set a legal precedent. It would reaffirm the importance of constitutional limits on executive power and the necessity of proper legal procedures. This is not just about a president or administration, it's about ensuring that the bedrock principles of our legal system are upheld. And let's not forget the political implications. Trump remains a leading figure in the Republican Party with a significant following. The outcome of this case could have profound effects on the political landscape, particularly as we approach the 2024 presidential race. It's a scenario where legal decisions have the power to shape political futures. And Meese's involvement adds weight to the argument. As a former Attorney General, his perspective carries significant legal gravitas. His decision to step into the fray underscores the seriousness of the issue at hand. This isn't a case of political maneuvering. It's a legal challenge with deep constitutional implications. Now let's turn our attention to the Supreme Court. The highest court in the land now faces a monumental decision. If they find that Smith's appointment was indeed unlawful, it would not just invalidate his actions as special counsel, but also send a clear message about the limits of executive power. It's a decision that could resonate through the annals of American legal history. Now, the court's decision will be closely watched, not just by legal scholars and political pundits, but by every American who cares about the rule of law. This is a test of our legal system's resilience and of its ability to uphold the principles of justice, fairness, and constitutional integrity. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. Now, as we come to the end of this report, let's revisit the magnitude of what we've discussed. The filing by former Attorney General Ed Meese is more than just a legal brief. It's a potential game changer in what has been a relentless pursuit to undermine President Donald Trump. This is not just about one man's legal battle. It's about the integrity of our republic's justice system. If Meese's argument holds, it could unravel what many see as a calculated plot to destroy Trump. It underscores a fundamental principle in our republic. The rule of law is paramount, not the whims of those in power. This filing could be the turning point, the moment when the scales of justice tip back towards fairness and away from partisan maneuvering. The story matters deeply to every American because it's a litmus test for our legal system. Can it withstand political pressures and uphold the constitutional principles it's built upon? Well, that's what's at stake here. The very soul of our justice system and, by extension, our republic.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.